Arsenal, Zinedine Zidane, 1995. Arsenal had first option on Zinedine Zidane from Bordeaux in 1995. The deal was £1.2 million. Bruce Rioche watched him multiple times and wanted to sign him. Arsenal's board thought it was too much money for an unproven French midfielder. They passed. Juventus signed him for £3 million instead. Zidane won the World Cup, the Ballon d'Or, and became the greatest midfielder of his generation. Arsenal got Patrick Vieira 4 years later and built a different dynasty. But imagine Zidane orchestrating Arsenal's attacks in the late 90s. Aston Villa, Shevchenko, 1998. Aston Villa agreed a £7 million deal with Dynamo Kiev for Shevchenko in 1998. John Gregory wanted him, the fee was negotiated, and Villa were ready to make him their record signing. Then AC Milan offered £14 million, and Shevchenko chose Serie A instead. Villa bought Dion Dublin. Shevchenko won the Ballon d'Or and the Champions League at Milan. Villa spent the next decade in slow decline. That sliding doors moment changed their entire trajectory. Blackburn Rovers, Alan Shearer, 1996. Blackburn Rovers won the Premier League in 1995 with Alan Shearer scoring 34 goals. In 1996, Newcastle offered £15 million to take him home. Blackburn matched it, offered him more money, begged him to stay and defend their title. Shearer chose Newcastle anyway. He left as defending champions. Blackburn never recovered. They sold their best player, bought replacements that flopped, and went from champions to mid-table in one summer. If Shearer stayed, could Blackburn have built a dynasty instead of becoming a one-season wonder? Chelsea, Ronaldo, 1996. Chelsea agreed a deal to sign 20-year-old Ronaldo from PSV Eindhoven in 1996. Ruud Gullit wanted him. Chelsea offered £12 million, and Ronaldo was ready to come to London. Then Barcelona offered £15 million, and Ronaldo chose Spain instead. Chelsea bought nobody and finished 6th. Ronaldo became the greatest striker of his generation, won 2 Ballon d'Ors and scored 414 goals. Chelsea had to wait another decade for their Roman Abramovich era. That missed signing delayed their rise by years. Coventry City, Rivaldo, 1997. Coventry City tried to sign Rivaldo from Deportivo La Coruña in 1997 for £3 million. Gordon Strachan flew to Spain, met Rivaldo, offered him wages, and the deal was close. Then Barcelona came in with a £15 million offer and Rivaldo chose the new camp. Coventry got nobody. Rivaldo won the Ballon d'Or, the Champions League, and became one of the world's best players. Coventry got relegated 5 years later. The gap between what almost happened and what actually happened was absurd. Everton, Gianfranco Zola, 1996. Everton agreed a £3 million deal with Parma for Gianfranco Zola in 1996. Joe Royle wanted him, the fee was set, and Zola was interested in the Premier League. Then Chelsea hijacked the deal and offered £4.5 million. Zola chose Chelsea, became a club legend, won 2 FA Cups and the Cup Winners' Cup. Everton got nobody. Chelsea's rise accelerated. Everton's decline continued. One hijacked transfer changed both clubs' 90s. Leeds United, Zinedine Zidane, 1996. Leeds United agreed a £3 million deal with Bordeaux for Zinedine Zidane in 1996. Howard Wilkinson had watched him, Leeds were willing to pay, and the deal was progressing. Then Juventus offered more money, and Zidane chose Italy. Leeds bought nobody that summer. Zidane became the world's best midfielder. Leeds spent the next few years buying expensive replacements before their financial collapse. If Zidane had joined Leeds in 1996, their entire spending spree might never have happened. Liverpool, Roy Keane, 1992. Liverpool agreed a £1 million deal with Nottingham Forest for Roy Keane in 1992. Graeme Souness wanted him. Keane supported Liverpool as a kid, and the deal was nearly done. Then Keane got cold feet about replacing older midfielders too quickly and chose Manchester United instead for £3.75 million. United got their captain and greatest midfielder. Liverpool got nobody and spent a decade behind United. That transfer shaped the entire Premier League era. Manchester United, Alan Shearer, 1996. Manchester United agreed a deal to sign Alan Shearer from Blackburn in 1996 for £15 million. Alex Ferguson wanted him, United offered the same money as Newcastle, and Shearer was tempted. Then he chose to go home to Newcastle instead. United bought nobody that summer and relied on young strikers instead. Shearer scored 206 goals for Newcastle but won nothing. United promoted youth and won everything with younger, hungrier players. Both clubs wonder what might have been. Newcastle United, Eric Cantona, 1992. Newcastle United agreed a £1 million deal with Nîmes for Eric Cantona in 1992. Kevin Keegan wanted him. The fee was tiny and Cantona was ready to join. Then at the last second, Leeds United hijacked the deal. Howard Wilkinson offered slightly more, and Cantona chose Leeds instead. 6 months later, Leeds sold him to Manchester United, and he became a Premier League legend. Newcastle got nobody. Imagine Cantona leading Keegan's entertainers instead of Ferguson's winners. Nottingham Forest, Dennis Bergkamp, 1995. Nottingham Forest agreed a £7 million deal with Inter Milan for Dennis Bergkamp in 1995. Frank Clark wanted him, Forest offered huge wages, and Bergkamp was ready to leave Italy. Then Arsenal hijacked the deal at the last second and offered £7.5 million. Bergkamp chose Arsenal. He became a Premier League icon, won 3 titles, and revolutionised English football. Forest got relegated 2 years later and spent 2 decades outside the top flight. That hijacking marked the end of their era. Sheffield Wednesday, Thierry Henry, 1999. Sheffield Wednesday agreed a £10 million deal with Juventus for Thierry Henry in 1999. Danny Wilson wanted him. The fee was negotiated and Henry was interested in guaranteed football. Then Arsenal hijacked the deal and offered £11 million. Henry chose Arsene Wenger over Wednesday. He became the Premier League's greatest striker with 175 goals. Wednesday got relegated that season and spent years in the Championship. One hijacked transfer separated greatness from decline. Southampton, Luis Figo, 1995. Southampton tried to sign 22-year-old Luis Figo from Sporting Lisbon in 1995 for £3 million. Alan Ball watched him. The club prepared an offer and Figo was considering England. Then Barcelona offered £5 million and Figo chose Spain instead. Southampton got nobody. Figo became one of the world's best wingers, won the Ballon d'Or and started the Galactico era. Southampton spent the next decade as a selling club. Sunderland, Gabriel Batistuta, 1996. Sunderland tried to sign Gabriel Batistuta from Fiorentina in 1996 for £15 million. Peter Reid flew to Italy, met with Batistuta's agent and made a serious offer. Batistuta was flattered but chose to stay at Fiorentina. Sunderland were in Division 1 at the time. If Batistuta had actually signed, it would have been the most absurd transfer in football history. A Ballon d'Or contender joining a second-tier English club. The deal was real, the interest was genuine, but reality was too ridiculous. Tottenham Hotspur, Dennis Bergkamp, 1995. Tottenham Hotspur agreed a £7 million deal with Inter Milan for Dennis Bergkamp in 1995. Jerry Francis wanted him. Spurs offered huge wages and Bergkamp wanted to leave Italy. Then Arsenal hijacked the deal, offered the same money, and Bergkamp chose their project instead. Arsenal got one of their greatest ever players. Spurs got Jurgen Klinsmann for 1 season and Teddy Sheringham. Arsenal won titles. Spurs won nothing. That hijacking defined both clubs' next decade. West Ham United, Paolo Di Canio, 1997. West Ham United tried to sign Paolo Di Canio from Sheffield Wednesday in 1997 for £1.5 million. Harry Redknapp wanted him. The fee was reasonable, and Di Canio was available. West Ham hesitated over wages and pulled out. Celtic signed him instead. 2 years later, West Ham finally bought him from Wednesday for £1.7 million, and he became a club legend. If they'd signed him in 1997, they might have built their entire late 90s team around him instead of waiting. Wimbledon, Zinedine Zidane, 1996. Wimbledon were offered first refusal on Zinedine Zidane by Bordeaux in 1996 through a scouting connection. The fee was £3 million. Joe Kinnear watched videos, thought he looked talented, but decided £3 million was too much for a club like Wimbledon. Juventus signed him instead. Wimbledon bought nobody and continued their giant killing with limited budgets. Zidane won everything. The gap between what Wimbledon almost did and what actually happened was the story of 90s football. Leeds United, Ruud Gullit, 1995. Leeds United offered Ruud Gullit a player-manager role in 1995 when Howard Wilkinson was under pressure. Gullit was interested, negotiations happened, and Leeds prepared a contract. Then Gullit pulled out because he wanted to keep playing at the highest level instead of managing. He joined Chelsea as a player instead. A year later, he became Chelsea's player manager and revolutionised them. Leeds stuck with Wilkinson, declined, and eventually hired George Graham. If Gullit had joined Leeds, their entire 90s would have changed. Manchester United, Ronaldo, 1997. Manchester United tried to sign Ronaldo from Barcelona in 1997 for £15 million. Alex Ferguson watched him destroy United in a pre-season friendly and immediately wanted him. United made an offer. Ronaldo was interested in the Premier League, but Barcelona refused to sell. Inter Milan signed him instead for £19.5 million. Ronaldo became the world's best striker. United bought Dwight Yorke instead and won the treble anyway. Both clubs ended up fine, but imagine Ronaldo leading United's attack in the late 90s. Blackburn Rovers, Didier Deschamps, 1996. Blackburn Rovers tried to sign Didier Deschamps from Juventus in 1996 to replace Tim Sherwood. Ray Harford wanted him. Blackburn offered £3 million, and Deschamps was considering England. Then he chose to stay at Juventus. Blackburn got nobody and went into decline after selling Shearer. Deschamps won the World Cup and the Champions League at Juventus. If Deschamps had joined Blackburn, maybe they wouldn't have collapsed so quickly after their title win. Newcastle United, Patrick Kluivert, 1998. Newcastle United agreed a £10 million deal with AC Milan for Patrick Kluivert in 1998. Kenny Dalglish wanted him. The fee was set and Kluivert was ready to move. Then Barcelona hijacked the deal and offered £12 million. Kluivert chose Barcelona and scored 90 goals in 6 seasons. Newcastle bought nobody and finished 13th. If Kluivert had joined Newcastle at 22, Shearer would have had the perfect strike partner, and Newcastle might actually have won something instead of just nearly winning. And those are the biggest what-if transfers from the 1990s, sliding doors moments when football almost went another way. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe for more football content.